Joining us now in the Element Wealth Studios, Terri Herring, the president of Choose Life Mississippi. Terri, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you were telling me off the air, besides Choose Life, you're also involved in another organization. It's involved in some lobbying efforts, right?
Yes, I've been involved in advocating for pro-life legislation for over 30 years.
Wow.
And worked with Americans United for Life as their state affiliate. So Mississippi has really worked hard to get where we are today.
Okay, so kind of a dual role, if you will, being president of Choose Life, which I assume is a counseling center, right?
Well, you know what?
What do you do?
Okay, so Choose Life, at one point after Florida had their first Choose Life license plate, Mississippi we lobbied Mississippi legislature for a Choose Life license plate in Mississippi,
okay,
and created the 501c3, which is the Choose Life Mississippi, and we are providing grants to over 30 pregnancy resource centers.
I got you.
So the pregnancy resource centers are independent of us, and they raise their own funds for the majority of what they do. However, having that little bit of extra coming from people
Sure.
who purchase a license plate has resulted in almost $4 million
Wow.
over the last several years.
Okay, so indirectly involved in that you're providing financial support to the
Yes.
organizations that do provide these sorts
That's
of services.
Right. That's right, yes.
One I'm familiar with locally, Center for Pregnancy Choices, I believe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the Center for Pregnancy Choices is probably our best model in the sense that they're the largest and they provide the most services. And there's a broad spectrum of what the different clinics the CPC clinics provide. However, I think the thing that's important is they provide compassion and they help the women deal with the fear that comes with an unexpected pregnancy. And so getting them in the door and being able to work them through whatever system is available to them. And what we have found is that over the last several years, just having a good referral system is really helpful to the pregnancy resource centers as well. You know, women come in with different problems and they will find help there. And some of them don't have support at home, so it's very important to have the pregnancy resource centers there.
Gotcha. All right, so we've got this trigger law. We were just talking to Aaron Rice about it. He's from the Mississippi Justice Institute, scheduled to go into effect tomorrow, effectively ending abortions in the state of Mississippi. We have one clinic remaining in the state that provides abortions, and they essentially won't be doing that tomorrow.
Yes, it has been, and the abortions have actually gone up in the last several years because you had COVID and then you had people coming over from Texas and Louisiana. So this clinic definitely does the lion's share of the abortions, and in fact, like 69 abortions a week are performed in that clinic. So this is a lot of babies, a lot of women needing help, and you know, we're really turning to the public and saying, you know, look for your local pregnancy center, find out more about what you can do to help. But financial help obviously is the number one thing people can do. Buying a Choose Life tag helps us provide them with additional funding. But the other thing is that we want the churches to engage, because you know, we have to change Mississippi, right? Because, you know, what we're looking at and what people are talking about and our statistics just need to change overall.
Yeah.
And this is an opportunity to stop using an abortion as an excuse to try to deal with poverty, right? I tell the liberal news media all the time, okay, we've had 50 years to experiment with this. We haven't ended poverty by having abortion. Killing one more poor child is not going to make someone rich, and it's not going to make Mississippi rich. So it's time for people to engage in a way that we hope will, and I have had a lot more people say, like, you know, how can I get involved? So maybe the hope that we can turn this around will bring more people into saying, can I help one woman? Can I help one child survive abortion? And part of that is through this system of the pregnancy resource centers. And again, one abortion clinic, but 30 pregnancy resource centers.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, you know, what I don't feel like gets talked about enough, Terri, is these centers that you guys and your efforts are helping to fund. How many babies are they saving?
Everyone has a different story about how many babies are saved, but I know just the sidewalk counselors here in Jackson save over 100 babies a year, and in that they're keeping up with how many women they've referred to.
I got you.
To the centers. So it's the numbers vary from center to center, but a lot of it is getting women in the door, and I think that looking at what's happened with the Dobbs case and ending abortion, except for in very extreme circumstances in Mississippi, will give women the opportunity to think about going to one of these centers. And we pray that they will go there, because we know that compassionate person on the other side of that door is their best friend. And we can get women through these pregnancies. We've heard so much fear. Just, even if you're not pregnant right now, you are afraid that ending abortion is going to be catastrophic, and you go, people are this upset over a baby being born. This is something that happens every day. Babies are born, and many of us have experienced an unexpected pregnancy. But I'll tell you, the main thing with the women that I see is the regret of having an abortion. And these pregnancy resource centers help women who are post-abortive as well. So I think this has kind of stirred a hornet's nest in some people's lives, just knowing that they've already experienced abortion, they're still in pain, and they may be seeking help. And the pregnancy resource centers do that as well.
I got you. I just I don't feel like the efforts are recognized the way they should be, that they're literally human babies are being saved through their efforts, through their counseling efforts and support systems as well. And speaking of that, Attorney General Lynn Fitch was on the program last week, and of course she spearheaded the case, but was discussing the need for the state and society in general to step up and provide more support, financial and otherwise, to mothers, prospective mothers that have an unplanned pregnancy, both throughout the term of the gestation and then also post-birth, that we got to step up and be more involved and provide support systems. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I think that the compassion that comes through a partnership with private and public is really important. Speaker Gunn spearheaded a bill to provide $3.5 million extra to the pregnancy resource centers through tax credits. And I think if businesses will invest there, then just that is providing a huge boost to the pregnancy centers. What we would like to see moving forward is that in some states they have full medical pregnancy resource centers.
Gotcha.
And we've seen what government did, and government fails because the compassion is not there. And I think for all of us, I think sometimes I see people shake their heads and just think like, oh, another pregnant woman. But, this pregnant mother needs our help. And I think getting men to father their children.
Sure.
The other thing is to realize that adoption is something that many of our centers also provide counseling for and information on. And we overlook adoption because there are over 1 million couples waiting to adopt even their first baby. So these babies are not unwanted, and people who are not prepared, women who are not prepared to parent, do not have to parent this child. So I keep hearing this narrative that they have a baby, they're not ready to have a baby, whatever the circumstances are, that we really need to change our narrative on adoption. What I hear is we celebrate, we clap for someone who adopts a baby. But are we clapping for a woman who places her child for adoption? That's a very, very heroic, in many ways selfless, right? Because, our natural inclination would be to parent a child whether we're ready or not. And I've met a few women who have placed their children for adoption, and to me they are heroes as well. So let's just kind of change our narrative moving forward so that we can encourage people that don't need to be parenting at this time.
That's a good point. We don't think a lot about the mother. That's a great point. Appreciate that. And we got to go, but final comment is folks I know that have been through adoption say the system is a mess and needs a lot of work.
Right, and we are working with the Speaker and the Governor's office and trying to put together some coalitions where we can work in that partnership
We're going to stay
of
on
private
it.
and public.
We're going to stay on it. We really are, because it's essential.
It
in
is.
my view.
It is.
Appreciate it, Terri. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Element Wealth Studios is where Middays is being broadcast from today.